One Rhyme at a Time, Unpacking the Meaning and the Muse with the Poetic Diva, is podcast programming that reminds us of the connection between poetry and mental and emotional wellness. This program has been brought to you by Rhyme and Chat Interactive Poetry Organization and the financial and technical support of the Lyndhurst Foundation, Arts Build, Gold Nook Productions, and our Chattanooga local NPR station, WUTC 88.1. So whether you are a poetry enthusiast or simply someone seeking inspiration and understanding, join us as we unravel the threads of creativity and introspection, one rhyme at a time. Welcome to the conversation. Welcome to One Rhyme at a Time, Unpacking the Meaning and the Muse podcast, where poetry meets mental wellness right here in the heart of Chattanooga, Tennessee. I am the Poetic Diva, and I am thrilled to embark on this poetic healing journey with you. This is part 2 in our series focusing on our children and the positive impact that exposure to the arts could have on their mental and emotional well-being. Now, in this episode, we welcome poet Kennedi Morton, her father, visionary and lifelong creative Swayyvo Morton, and we will continue our conversation with retired educator and fellow creative Sylvia Greene. So join us as we welcome our very first guest, Miss Kennedi Morton. At just 11 years old, Kennedi Morton is already proving that passion, purpose, and determination come in all sizes. A student at Chattanooga Girls Leadership Academy, Kennedi's favorite subject is math, where her curiosity and problem-solving skills shine brightly. Beyond the classroom, she is a talented track runner and dancer who brings energy, discipline, and confidence to everything she does. Though small in stature, Kennedi is known for having a powerhouse personality and an I can do it attitude that inspires those around her. Creativity and compassion run deep in her family. Her mother, Kayla, is a dedicated nursing student, while her father, artist Swayyvo, is a musician, entrepreneur, and creative visionary. Kennedi also shares a love for the arts with her younger sister, Nadia. Most importantly, Kennedi has a heart for people and for the planet. She dreams of helping make the world a better place by encouraging others to care for the earth, protect the environment, and create a kinder future for everyone. Join me in welcoming Kennedi Morton to the podcast, One Rhyme at a Time. Kennedi, welcome to One Rhyme at a Time. We're so happy to have you here with us. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
Kennedi will be sharing her poem with us entitled, My Person.
My person. Yeah, you heard me. My person. I want to be me, but something inside of me is saying, please, please, please. I say no, then go around and turn back on myself and ask myself, why did I say no? I said no because Kennedi Morton is me. Not a YouTuber, not my friends, not the popular girls in school. Me. I stand on my word just like the God that I serve. God didn't bless my mother with a child that's not herself. I write, I think, I feel, but let me go back to my word. I write. Yes, I do. I write, but why do I write? I write because it tells me, it feels me, it expresses me. It's not that I'm not myself. I want to be included, but my mom told me, I am me and you are you. But trust me, she said, I'll find my spark soon. It's not about seeing yourself as another person. It's about how you see yourself shine. Be you, be proud, and look up at the clouds and think, what is it going to do if I be someone else? Nothing. It's going to do nothing. It takes your comfort away. It takes your confidence away. It takes you away from you. And you is you. Poetic out.
That's a wonderful job. You did a great job, Kennedi.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much for being here with us today. I want to know about the poem that you shared. So give us a little bit of information about where you were and what was going on when you created that poem.
I thought about what happened at school. School, is like a very complicated place because you find out who's your friend or not, and what your choice. And here I'm explaining that you don't have to fit into every group you see, and like you can just be you. And you, like my mom said, I'll find my spark soon because somebody will find me and think I'm like the best friend ever. So yeah.
I understand that you were like in a workshop or
Yes.
something so tell us a little bit about the workshop experience that you were in when you created that poem.
I was I'm in chat boot camp.
Okay, and what was that? What was that experience like?
It was about like everybody just enjoying themselves, like being themselves. And my favorite part about it was going on the silent nature walk, and because it like tells me like what I didn't notice. Like, say if I was talking and I'm talking to other people, I wouldn't notice some things, like the flower growing on a dead tree in the water. Like it was a worm on the floor that like blended in so well, and yeah, I wouldn't never notice that if I was like not worrying about what was going on in like nature and things and stuff like that.
Exactly. Nature is an amazing,
Yeah.
is an amazing thing. And it's really important to just kind of slow down.
Yeah.
And to take the time to focus on the small things, little things.
Yeah. Sometimes, yeah, I'm the one that's scared of bugs, but like if I like, if I'm not worrying about that, like what happened, I just ignored it.
They're really quite amazing, though.
Yeah.
You know, they're really quite amazing. And can be beautiful as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm glad that you had that experience. And from that experience being in that writing boot camp, you were able to create this poem. So I think you did a beautiful job with the writing of the poem. So is this the only poem that you've written?
One guy at the thing told us to write. He gave us 2 prompts. And
at the writing boot camp?
Yes.
Okay.
And I wrote this, and I said that I'm still here. I still have a spark in life because you are here. My iPad has been here for only 1 year. The nature, trees, everything in nature has been here forever. Over 100 years that I haven't noticed. See, like, ever since I have my iPad, I haven't noticed some things like nature and stuff.
So with technology can be really cool, but
it's addictive.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And you miss things. You miss out on the simple things and the beautiful things that nature provides.
Yeah.
So it sounds like there were a lot of things that you learned and experienced by being a part of this writing workshop.
Yes.
So when you write, and even with some of the other creative things that you do, because you also are a dancer, I understand.
Yes.
So being involved in those creative things, how does that make you feel? How does that make you feel about yourself?
Like I feel special because some kids like can't do some things, like, and like sometimes their parents can't like afford some things, and I'm just grateful for my mom like of putting me in these things, because I would have never found out I can dance if she didn't put me in these things.
That's good. So just being in the environment and having an opportunity to just try different things out and see if you like it and that type of thing.
Because because she tries to keep me active, because like she doesn't want me in the house all day sitting on my iPad. She put me in soccer. Wasn't a big fan of it. But once she put me in dance, she knew that was my thing.
That was your thing. That was your thing. And you didn't know that was your thing.
I didn't know.
Until you were in it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the same is true with your writing. So now that you have discovered this new talent, this new gift that you have for writing and impacting people with your writing, do you plan to continue to write?
Yeah, of course.
So what types of things do you think you might write in the future?
I want to write, and I'm going to write things about what have people done to the earth and how we can fix some things.
Yeah.
Because I believe in dinosaurs, and I'm just going to say when people weren't here, the earth was pretty and beautiful, and dinosaurs did their thing.
Right.
Yeah.
We kind of messed it up, didn't we? So you're going to help turn things around
Yes.
through your writing.
Yes.
I think that's a beautiful, beautiful way to impact people. So I also remember that with that writing workshop that you were in, you had an opportunity, because it was a rhyme and chat thing, the audience talked back to you.
Yes.
How did that feel to be able to share your poem? I know you were a little nervous when you shared your poem, but being able to share your poem and then also getting that feedback from the audience. What types of things did they say and how did you feel?
She said I inspired her, and I inspired somebody. Like, I smiled so much because like I inspired somebody that day, and so I'm gonna continue writing, and maybe I can inspire some more people. And yeah, people just made me smile that day because I got so much appreciation for going on the stage and sharing my poem.
That's a great feeling. That's a great feeling. I actually caught a video of you. So I had the video. This was at the end of the day, and you and I were here, and your dad had come to pick you up, and I was showing him the video of your performance on the television, and it was just kind of like playing in a loop.
Yeah.
And you were sitting in a chair in front of the television screen. You were locked in. It probably looped about 3 or 4 times before we realized, because he and I were just in the background having a conversation, before we realized Kennedi is like locked in on this video, like watching herself and listening to herself on repeat. I've got to find out what was going on in your mind as you're sitting there watching the video of yourself and your performance.
Like, I'm thinking, is that really me on top of a stage reading a poem and getting all these responses? Like, I love that for me.
It was a good feeling, huh?
And like, I sound so good when I was doing it, and like, this really like expresses me, and it like makes me so happy.
I love that. I love that. I could tell that you were so proud because I've performed, I've shared poetry, and a lot of people don't like to see themselves on camera. They don't like to hear their own voices after it's been, recorded or whatever. And I'm like, but this baby is sitting up here and she is watching herself and so proud and listening to herself and so proud. I'm like, this could be life-changing. This could be life-changing for her. So I'm so glad that you had that experience.
Yes.
And I do hope that you continue to write, that you continue to find creative ways to express yourself. Is there anything else that you want to share with us about the impact that writing has had on you?
So like, I felt more released because what I have learned about me, I keep my feelings in my, like, just in me, and then I just cry it out. Like, but that's not healthy because like, I want to talk to somebody, but I found you and my writing. So like, I just been feeling so relieved, and yeah, I just like, writing really helps me. Like, it was all these weights and I just feel somebody take them off. Yeah. And that's my writing. Yeah.
And that's what writing does for you. It takes the weight off.
Yes.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so very much for taking time to talk with us today and share your poem with us and to let us know about what writing does for you.
Yes.
Yeah, please keep writing.
Yes, and I will.
Thank you. Oh, you're so cute. Known professionally as Swayyvo, Jared Morton is a Chattanooga-based musician, producer, songwriter, saxophonist, visionary, and multidisciplinary creative whose work blends hip-hop, jazz, neo-soul, live instrumentation, and storytelling into a sound uniquely his own. What sets Swayyvo apart is not only his musical versatility, but his commitment to authentic expression and innovation. Equally comfortable behind a saxophone, a production board, or a microphone, he has built a reputation for creating emotionally layered music that bridges generations and genres. His artistry carries both the soul of live musicianship and the pulse of contemporary culture. Over the years, Swayyvo has collaborated with major brands including the NBA, NFL, Nickelodeon, and VaynerMedia, while also working alongside nationally recognized artists such as K-Camp, Young Blue, Project Pat, Earth Gang, and YG Tut. Beyond music, he is deeply invested in creativity as a lifestyle and as a form of personal transformation. As a father, creative entrepreneur, and artist developer, he continues to inspire others through his originality, discipline, and fearless commitment to vision. Please help me welcome the incredibly talented and innovative Swayyvo to One Rhyme at a Time.
Let's go.
We thank you for being here with us.
I'm happy to be here.
Of course, we know about the music that you create, about the artists that you inspire. But this episode of One Rhyme at a Time, we want to dig a little deeper into where it all began.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because you didn't just wake up one day as Swayyvo. There was
Definitely not
a process that you went through. So we heard in your bio about the amazing things that you're doing and have accomplished through the arts. What part did exposure to the arts at an early age play in shaping you into the man that you are today?
For one, for sure, confidence. So it built my confidence up to be able to be in front of people. It also, a part of confidence is just owning yourself, being held accountable for your dopeness. Like, being okay with exactly who you are. So I've been comfortable in my own skin for a long time. So I don't care much about, naysayers, yaysayers. I just kind of do what I know, do what I love. You know what I mean? So yeah, for starters, that just starting from a young age, help catapult me into, that confidence.
What artistic disciplines were you involved in your youth?
So definitely being in the band, I know that has a lot of structure, so it's not as creative, but it helped me become the leader that I am. But as far as creativity, definitely rhyme and chat. As you can see, rhyme and chat has always been a big part of, cultivating that creativity that I've grown to, wear.
Where did you start?
I started in middle school. In sixth grade. Started in middle school. Well, as far as saxophone, but I had done all of it. I had done, I was doing all of that in sixth grade. Saxophone, I was also making beats in sixth grade. I started doing all of it kind of simultaneously. All of that came about around the same time.
So that's like 11, 12 years old? Sixth grade?
Yeah.
So about 11, 12.
Yeah, I guess it was.
Oh, you've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of like my way to express myself. It was my form of expression. It's how me being able to express myself helped mold me into who I am. That's why I'm confident, because all I have done from a young age is be able to create, be able to, rely on the skills that I, just creating something out of thin air, and I felt oddly at peace, like a calmness, being able to create something out of thin air. So just knowing that I could do that, outside things that were frustrating didn't bother me as much, just because I know that I could just go home and just create something and like express that in a way where nobody had to know, nobody got to listen. I could just do that in the comfort of my space. Right.
Yeah, it was your own.
Yeah, definitely.
So, okay, so you're like this really like cool guy. Like you're easy to approach, easy to talk to when you're in like a public setting. You can be like the life of the party. Have you always been that person?
No, I still have to, there are things that I have to do to be that person. Still not really all the way. I'm still not all the way comfortable in front of people. I'm still odd in a lot of ways. The creativity is what helps me mentally. The act of only trained me to be able to do that more, to be able to kind of train the muscle memory. So I have a muscle memory of being in front of people. I have a muscle memory of hopping into a bag to where I can be outside and talk to people. None of that has anything to do with my mental health, because I can literally be going through so much stuff, and still am to this day going through so much stuff. And the only thing that helps me get through that is what I create and being creative. Me being creative helps my mental health, because that's it's always been where I feel safe at. Being in front of people, I've never felt safe in front of people, because people are so judgmental.
Right.
People will look at you, they'll smile, they'll have so many opinions behind you that, you think you know a person, and then you hear what they actually think about you from, so I've never felt comfortable in front of people. Still to this day, I don't. I'm not a people person by far. I don't get my energy from being around people at all. But people have taken a lot, or at least they'll act like they like me, because they are also fans of what I've created, or they are fans of what I've been able to do with my creativity, because they aren't safe in their creative. That they might not be the creative that I am. They might do something else to, make them feel safe. I don't know, whatever that is.
Right.
But I have heard from people that I've heard questions like, like what you're asking, how does that create it? How do you hop into that creative bag?
Mhm.
Because, people are in their jobs, they have to deal with the kids,
Right.
they have to, their life keeps them, on the rat wheel. So they aren't able to find time to be creative. But, we have a creator. We were created by a creator.
By the creator.
We are here to create. So any and everybody has a purpose here to create something,
Right.
And I don't mean create kids, create life. I mean, create something out of thin air. It ties into who you are. We need to be creative.
So at our core, our essence is to have the ability to create.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when that's stifled, then we aren't necessarily living at our fullest potential.
You can't.
Yeah.
You can't, because you're operating out of, you're not operating in your purpose. If you're not creating and you're on the rat wheel, then you're not whole. You'll always have a sense of something being missing.
Right. Some type of void in your life.
Yeah, and you're just out here, and then people feel like misunderstood, unheard, unfelt, that they don't know why they're here. It's like, you're here to be you. And what does that look like? What are you here to say? Like, what is your mission? What is your message here? What do you want people to know, and how, and if they were to see it, if they were to see something that you created, how would it make them feel? Like, tell your story through a piece of art.
What was your process in finding your identity and your purpose? From your youth, how did you know that a creative path was the path for you?
Honestly, I hate. So I was a product of my environment. So I've always been around creatives, always been around the arts. So since it was a part of who, my surroundings, sometimes I would reject it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I felt like it was forced on me. You know what I mean? Because it was everything. So I didn't know that it was for me until I got older. So I went through elementary, middle school, high school, some of my adult years, knowing that, making music was something that I felt safe doing. It's always been my outlet. That is where, that was my source of creativity. But I didn't know that I didn't care about making money off of it. When I realized that I could make money off of it, that ruined it for me. That
How
ruined
did that ruin it for you?
because it became a job. I made it a job. I knew I wanted to do it for a living because that's where I felt safe. But once it became a job to me, it didn't feel safe anymore. Because now I'm worried about what this person is making. They're making money off of it doing this. Oh, I need to sound like this. So I went through years of just battling an identity crisis. Like, okay, people like it when people sound like this, but they don't like it when I sound like that, because it's like, well, they know that sound is not for you. They can hear that that's not who you are.
Right.
You know, so, but then when I started doing being myself in my music, people was like, yeah, but that ain't for me. It's like, okay, well, where are my people? Like, how am I supposed to sell my art to people? How am I supposed to, and then maintain my authenticity? So that has been a battle, even to today.
Right.
I still go through that same battle. It's very hard to know that when you show people today, I can show people my music and they're like, I love that. I've seen myself in their playlist. I know that so I know that I'm onto something. I know for a fact I'm onto something, but it's like, so now I'm curving back into like, okay, yeah, I can do this. And I just need to be authentic. I need to be and find my people. And it's just, and I'm finding the fun in doing that, finding my people.
So there is a different feeling when you're creating for the masses as compared to when you create for yourself. Tell us the difference that you've experienced.
So creating for other people is a task and it's a means to provide, which is important. And they're easy to blend. They're easy to blend. They shouldn't be blended, but they're easy to blend. When I create, I am trying to get out of the habit for creating for masses. I'm 33. I don't have the mental capacity to chase behind or to create something that I think people will like. The creating for myself, it's peaceful. I can just sit in the room. I can tailor something as simple as the hi-hat. The hi-hat doesn't mesh well with this 808 and this snare, and just pick through it and take my time. And I've never heard this snare in this pattern before, but it makes me feel good. I'm gonna put it there because that's nobody's ever had this vocal production, this type of vocal production on a track like this. But it makes me feel good. And then I created anything that I've created out of anything that I've created for myself has put me in a completely different place in my life. Like created space for me. We talked about Zone and Heaven on Earth. Like these songs, Red, these songs don't sound like anything. There's not anything that you can sit it beside where it's like these two songs are similar. They're completely fresh thought. They're a fresh thought. And I produced all three of those. I made the tracks to them. Even the whole approach to these songs are something completely new.
Mm-hmm.
And they did crazy numbers. Really, I lived off them for a while. Two of those songs were on the NBA commercials and the game. Both of the Zone and Red are both on 2K21, 22 as well, I believe. Man, it's been a while. It's 2026 now. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, anytime I create from my soul, and anytime I create out of a place of being, just being, and just creating and just expressing, if I do release it out to the world, then there's a frequency that is sent.
Have you found retreating to the arts, to writing, to musicianship being a way of escape or a way of healing when you're going through things in life?
All the time. I have been going through a lot here lately, And my music right now reflects everything that I'm going through, even things that I can't. There are things that I can't say aloud, and conversations that I don't know how to have that I can make a song about. And I feel so okay with writing a song about it and just being creative about it and expressing it through music that the conversation isn't as important.
Yeah.
I can let a lot of things go and don't have to have many conversations if I can write about it and have a space to express myself. So I know that everybody doesn't have that, but that's definitely a way that I don't have to have the conversation if I can create about it. I don't know. I
It's
don't know
all
if
about the
anybody else.
release. It's about the
Yeah, I don't know if
release.
anybody else feels like that. I know I'm kind of odd in that way. Man, it's been a lot going on here lately,
Yeah.
and my art I have leaned on my art so much here lately where it's like I know that this has to be. I don't even, it goes back to, I don't even know if I want it to be a job now,
Right.
because it's so important for it to be a release. Like, I don't want it to go back to feeling like a chore,
Right.
because I need it so much. It's gotten me through so much here lately. You know what I mean?
I definitely know what you mean. As both a father and an artist, how intentional are you when it comes to exposing your children to creativity and artistic freedom?
Well, for start, I let them know that that's an option. I have to lead by example first. So I'm showing them that that's how I express myself. I want them to find their own way to express themselves. I do want them to be artists. I just don't want to force it on them. Well, my oldest is 11. So that was right around the time where I started expressing myself through the arts. So she's right around the time where I'm about to start, nudging her into a position. But right now, I just kind of let kids be kids, kind of find their own way as far as. But I do plan on um, putting them in more situations to be able to be creative. I have
Nice.
both of them enrolled in the Dynamo Summer Camp just to, find different, soundscaping, videography, photography, just seeing what they like, just letting them know what their options are so that they can find the way that they want to express themselves. But so I'm not super intentional yet, but that's definitely on the horizon for
Yeah,
sure.
that is really good. I've found one of the most successful ways that I've experienced to assist my children in finding their way was to put them in the environment of different things. So,
Mhm.
like with my son, for example, um, he had an opportunity to be in the midst of writers because of Ramen Chat. He had an opportunity to be in the midst of writers, but he was also in the midst of musicians through being involved in church. And I also had him sign up for football. He didn't care for football.
Absolutely not.
I had him signed up for baseball, and he was
You can
dig.
say me. You
He
can
was.
say me. You can say
I
me.
wasn't gonna say that.
Absolutely not.
He
Absolutely not.
you were digging in the dirt, balls rolling right past you,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
digging in the dirt, looking for worms.
There were more important
So
things.
more important things. So I do think that there's great power in putting your children in different environments and
Right.
allowing them to choose,
Right.
because they will automatically gravitate towards what pulls them.
For sure.
So
For sure. But I definitely like I said from the get go, leading by example. I have to lead by example. Such as, I saw my mom express herself and be creative. So I always knew that that was an avenue. I chose it a different way. Definitely chose it a different way, but I always knew that way of expression was avenue I could go down. So definitely showing them how it's done first, and then that both of my kids are already aware that, like, okay, I see my dad doing this. I see people congratulating him on these things. I know that that's an avenue. That's great, but you know,
yeah.
they'll find their way.
Yeah. And your daughters are already paving their path when it comes to creative expression.
Hmm.
Both of them write.
Hmm.
One of them sings.
Mm-hmm.
The other one, I've heard
Dances.
her. I've heard her rapping.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
like,
Oh yeah.
what?
We got a song for sure.
Yes,
Yeah, we got a
and
song for sure.
both of them have been dancing, and one in gymnastics, and one in cheering. All of
They're dope.
that is creative expression.
Yep.
So when it comes to our young people in the community, like there's all this funding that's being cut, and the arts programs, the music, the band. That seems to be like one of the first places that they cut. What are your thoughts when it comes to just like how vital is it in the upbringing of our children to afford them opportunities to express themselves creatively?
It starts at home. I think that without any funding, I still would have been the creative that I am today. I don't think that there was anything that costed a crazy amount of money or anything that I'm trying to think. Like there was nothing, there wasn't a funded situation that I was in that gave me an aha moment. It started at home. You know what I mean? So the parents, you have to be a part of the change you want to see. So you have to create, you can do arts and crafts at home. You can, do music at home. You can, all of these things. So but I do think it is important for, those things not to be cut. Things like, without things like Dynamo, there are kids at Howard who wouldn't know how to express themselves. Without a ramen chat, there are kids who wouldn't understand how to express themselves. There's even soundcore. They have the busker, the sidewalk stages,
Yes.
and there are kids as young as 13 who are able to go out there and play their instruments and get paid to do it. So it just that paves the way for the rest of their life. So it's so important. Without organizations like you guys, the future of just the creative standard would, you know, fall apart. So, these kids who are our future photographers, our future videographers, future artists, future musicians, uh, all of the arts, architects. Our future, the way the buildings are going to be shaped in the future. You could be raising the next architect that shapes the way downtown looks. You know what I mean? So it's just all of these things are from the arts. So it's just like so important for kids to, not only find careers in the arts, but also just be able to know how to express themselves. Because a lot of these kids are going through things at home that they can't verbalize. They don't know how to verbalize. They don't really know what's happening. They don't know that it's bad.
Yeah, they don't have the vocabulary to express it.
They don't even know what's going on around them, but they drew a picture and it raised questions.
Yeah.
It just can get so deep as far as expression, like a child knowing how to being able to express themselves through art. You know what I mean? So it's super important.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. So I know firsthand that sometimes our young people are reluctant in the arts. Sometimes they don't like being put up on stages. They don't like taking the lessons. It can be kind of challenging. And sometimes the parent has to kind of make it to where it's not an option because they know what's best for their child, or they see something in their child that just needs to be nurtured a bit. So from the position of a once reluctant kid, what what knowledge, like, or wisdom after the fact can you share? Because I'm sure that there's some parents out there who have their kids in different arts programs, musician programs, and things of that nature, and the child does not want to practice, they don't want to go, and the parent is about ready to say, Johnny, just don't even worry about it. You don't even have to. But
That's a really deep question. I know that being a parent myself and coming from once being a reluctant, I I'm so glad that my mom made me get up, get out there, and put myself in positions to be uncomfortable, because I got comfortable with being uncomfortable. And even though that you can make a kid do something, so I was made to play a saxophone. The saxophone was never popular. It never got me any type of kudos all the way up through school. Never got me until I actually got good and I actually started playing out. And now it's like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I still don't always like playing the saxophone. It's not something that I'm like crazy passionate about. I'm not trying to be the best saxophone player in the world out here, but that is the breadwinner. I have something that can sustain me with or without job. I can go out here and play and make money. It's literally a trade. So when a parent finds a trade for when you find a trade for your child, yeah, make them stick to it. Yeah, make them stick to it. Yeah, they're gonna hate you. They're gonna kick rocks about it. Yeah, I'm sure, but they will respect you and love you so much later because they realize something kicks in. It's like I can I can survive off of this, whether I'm passionate about it or not. I can survive off of this. You know what I mean? So the saxophone is not one of the things that I use for like mental health or I use to be creative at all. It's not my creative outlet. My verbal expression creatively is my outlet.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I have to say something. I don't want you to just feel me. I need you to hear what I'm saying. So that's the outlet. That's the outlet. I don't care if that makes money or not. Saxophone gotta make money, or I won't do it. Or I won't do it. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it is definitely important to stay on your kids. Yeah, definitely stay on your kids. If you find something that that's gonna make them money that they're gonna be able to, use for the rest of their life, yeah, make them.
Yeah.
Get them up early.
Right, because quitting is so easy. And if you give young people, actually anybody, but what we're talking about young people, if you give young people the option to quit because it's hard, because nobody starts off being awesome at anything. Like you got to go through the awkwardness of learning and practicing and developing that muscle memory that you mentioned earlier. Like that's not an easy process to go through. So if you give your kids, well, Johnny, if you don't feel like going to piano, well, of course Johnny doesn't feel like going to piano lessons,
and he's gonna quit later, and he's gonna quit and half do everything for the rest of his life because he was allowed to quit early. So that's an awesome point. That's an awesome point. I wish I would have said that, but yeah, no, that's an awesome point. But yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you have been given the opportunity to quit and throw in the towel, then you're gonna feel like that you can restart forever, and that's not necessarily the case.
Exactly.
Reinvent yourself by all means, but yeah, you definitely need to pick something, stick to it, and train that muscle memory of I'm not gonna quit. I'm gonna stay doing it. I'm gonna I'm gonna be consistent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Great point.
Are there any closing words that you have for us?
Mainly just continuing to put kids in positions to be creative, because the more opportunities they have to express themselves, the better they get at expressing themselves. And as adults, they'll know how to express themselves. I do want to tie this into something. I don't. It's a segue into a whole different, sermon. But if I didn't know how to express myself, my relationships would not go as well as they have with. A lot of men don't know how to express themselves. And as soon as they get frustrated, they resort to escalating. But because I have outlets to be able to express myself and have been raised up to be able to express myself, I know what type of verbiage to use and when to say, when not to say, and when to express and not to express. The being able to be in the arts to express yourself can put you in situations as an adult to be a completely better person all the way around, all the way around. So yeah, that definitely ties into your mental well-being,
Definitely.
protecting yourself, protecting your peace, all of that comes from being able to express yourself properly. Yeah.
I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. That's good. That's good. So if people are wanting to connect with you, how can they find Swayyvo?
Swayyvo. And that's anywhere. Just, you can type it in Google, just like that. Swayyvo. On Instagram, it's Swayyvo1. Facebook, it's Swayyvo Morton, Morton. But I'm on all social media, on all streaming platforms, Swayyvo, just like, with 2 Y's.
Okay, and why are there 2 Y's?
Because I'm 2 Y's.
Oh, that was good. That was good. That was good. Thank you so very much for coming on and for talking with us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Sylvia Greene is a retired educator and lifelong advocate for the power of words. A former K-12 educator in Hamilton County Schools, Sylvia devoted her professional life to nurturing young minds and inspiring creativity in the classroom. She started her teaching career at Tyner High School as an exceptional education teacher for those with special needs. She went on to serve as a teacher trainer at several local schools, including Hardy Elementary, Clifton Hills, Marianne Garber, and East Hamilton Middle High School, with a focus on English and language arts. Her love for poetry and storytelling began in elementary school, where she discovered the magic of expression through rhythm, rhyme, and imagination. That early spark grew into a lifelong passion, one she would later pass on to countless students. After retiring, Sylvia's journey took on a new chapter inspired by her son, Michael Greene, affectionately known as Mike G the Poet. Michael, once a quiet and thoughtful student, found his own voice through poetry. He transformed his shyness into strength, performing spoken word pieces that touched hearts and inspired many. His dedication to the craft and his message of empowerment, "Every lion has its roar," became his life's philosophy. Join me in welcoming Miss Sylvia Greene to One Rhyme at a Time. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you so very much.
I'm honored. I'm honored to be with you. It is a privilege. Thank you for inviting me.
So you have shared amazing information from the perspective of an educator.
Yes.
From the perspective of a parent.
Yes.
What has been your experience with our youth and the arts?
Well, that takes me back to my son, who we know as Mike G the Poet.
Yes.
Michael Greene, Mike G the Poet. And Michael was very shy throughout his elementary, even middle school years. He talked a little bit more high school and opened up. But for those very formative years, he was the kid pretty much that sat in the corner, and they pretty much effed him off. That means failed him. Many times after putting him to bed and helping him with his homework and putting him to bed, for the next day, I sat and cried because I felt like here I was, a teacher trainer, consulting teacher, having really worked very hard at making other people's children successful. And as a mother, I'm watching my own son in a place of failure, in a place of feeling like he didn't belong. He was in the shadow of 2 very academically successful sisters. And I wanted to scream out to his teachers, who were very rigid, textbook test driven in their curriculum. If it was not in the book, then it wasn't a part of what they did. It was their curriculum Bible. And not only my son, but I watched many of his peers suffer with that. But bringing it back to what, many times would rip my heart out, as I would try and have a conversation, maybe with his teacher, that would not be intimidating,
Right.
so that they wouldn't reject what I had to say.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just ask, can he draw it for you?
Ah.
Can he just, draw a picture? Because he was also good at that. And then he can write these words and explain that, well, that's not a part
Right. That's
of
not the
our
assignment.
testing. That's not what we do here. Our teaching is so different from what you do literally in the projects.
Oh.
Mhm. It was more framed, the schools you work in.
Oh.
That's what I was told. And so that was hard.
Yes.
That was harsh. And I would ask him, "Hun, don't you want to move out of that school?" "Mom, that's where my friends are."
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I didn't want to. I juggled between him, being in a different school environment where I felt like they would present a more multidisciplinary way of presenting information. They take more of an effort to meet his needs, and that he was not just the dumb child.
Yeah.
But he was happy being there,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to place him somewhere that, he would be unhappy with his friends. But it was very hard.
Sure.
And again, with the arts, as you're experiencing with nonprofits, the mindset sometimes of those who have the pen, who hold the power
Right.
of the pen, your hardest task is to convince them of how valuable the arts are.
Yes.
But I thank God for the arts, because I think I started to tell you, my brother brought it to my attention that Michael J. had written something on Facebook. And this was before AI and everything. He had written something. And my brother said, "Oh my God, Cecile, did you read what Michael wrote?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Oh, he can write." He said, "You go out there." And my brother is college professor, and director of business at Clinton College. Go Clinton. But I started reading what he was writing, and I myself had no knowledge that was inside of him. And the confidence of this kid, who for years barely talked above a whisper, was a late bloomer with verbal skills anyway, and to see him blossom with rhyme and chat was, oh my God. I mean, it opened up not only his world, but it was an answer to a prayer of a mother who had, I tell you, been crying tears and seeking and searching, who can I get help from for my child? And I have had many conversations with parents, with colleagues, with other consulting or educational consultants. I've sat down and talked with them, and we all came to that decision about there are teachers and there are curriculums where they just want arts to be, they just deem them not important.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Yep.
I remember working with your son. We would be prepared. He was a member of Robin Chat during the time that I was leading the organization. And he had so much energy and fire when it came to performing. And he's so creative. because he would have like a whole like costume, props. He would have his poetry memorized. He would give me a call leading up to shows about I almost got it memorized. I'm trying to stay within your time limit because I had to get onto him about his time limit. He would get up on stage. He would have like an 8-minute poem. I'm like, dude,
I thought you told
it's like
me
that's
3 minutes.
right. It's like that's too much, but it was so amazing. It was so dope. So he was like really, really in his element.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember seeing his parents,
Uh-huh.
you and your husband, in the audience coming to the shows,
Mm-hmm.
beaming.
Yes. And I would have cried, but it would have got ugly, you know? But that is how I felt, because I felt like even though he has gone to the other side, that was God's gift, not only to him, but to us,
Yes.
that, you know, to see him in such a place of confidence,
Right.
because I'm looking at him like, who is this child?
Yes.
He's the one I used to have to try to pull to for him to do, you know, anything that you find out I'm valuable. I am successful. I am seen, and I am loved. And the arts does all of those things. Mm-hmm.
Whew. I want to thank you so very much for coming on, for having this conversation with us. And so I know that you're retired,
Uh-huh.
but if anybody is wanting to reach out to you, to have a conversation with you, to get more wisdom and nuggets from you, is there a way that people can contact you?
Absolutely. My email address is Sylvia, Sylvia, dot InShapeMD, INSHAPEMD @gmail.com.
Thanks to Kennedi, Swayyvo, and Sylvia for sharing with us. And we'd like to hear from you. What is your connection to the arts? How has artistic expression impacted you and the youth and young people in your life? How have you seen the act of reading, writing, and self-expression change the lives of young people in the community? Share your response in an original poem you've written in response to this podcast. Submit your poem to RNCPoetry @gmail.com for the chance to have your poem read on an upcoming episode. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, share, and leave comments for us on your preferred podcast platform. Your feedback helps us as we continue to bring you meaningful content, one rhyme at a time.